And we're back. Good evening, Gopher fans, and welcome to yet another episode of Sky U Pod, your college huddle Golden Gopher football podcast. Your Golden Gophers are coming off 6-3 out of the bye. It was much needed, kind of after, I don't want to say tumultuous so far season, but kind of an interesting little ups, little down season. But we were just talking before we got on live, and fellas, we're all fired up for this road game against the top 10 ranked Oregon Ducks. I don't know what they're going to be ranked after the rankings drop this week, but it'll be exciting. Max, Curry, how you both doing?
Doing good. Yeah, it looks like Oregon's at eighth, which I still think is too low for them, or too high, I guess, whichever way is the wrong way. But it'll all get played out, and maybe they'll be out of the top 10 if the Gophers can shock the world. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking, Shuddy. I'm just pumped up, man. Like we have 3 games left. College football goes way too fast, so it's nice to have. The Gophers aren't necessarily where we wanted them to be at in a way at this point, but it's a big game. Get a chance to show that you've made some improvements along the way, and really at this point you're just trying to. I mean, you win this one, you could get a pretty nice bowl game. So um, definitely some stuff on the line, and I think you're catching Oregon. And like, if you had to go to Oregon, I think this is the exact spot you would want to do that. So um, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I want to run this past you guys. I did see some. Okay, so when Nebraska a couple weeks back, we talked about some person. I'm not sure we put this on air. Nebraska were the All Blacks at home, uh, and against USC, and they came out to back in black. And I didn't know this, but apparently that's an Iowa thing. And so all my Twitter feed was full of Iowa fans like ripping Nebraska nonstop for using their song. Okay, so then this last week happens, and it's Iowa going all black against Oregon at home. Do you know what song they came out to? Do you guys
No,
catch it? They came
no.
out to Enter the Sandman. Like, just straight ripping off Virginia Tech. Literally a week after their fans were all over Nebraska for using back in black. Like, how do you go from hating on Nebraska for doing that to then using like the most iconic entrance maybe in all college football and stealing Enter the Sandman for Virginia Tech? I just thought that was pretty funny, and Iowa fans weren't they weren't as vocal about that one, I should say, as far as teams using other teams' intros to entering the stadium. So I just had to bring that up. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah,
Well, it's not a
that's
fan base that'll
Hawkeyes
be
for you.
not a fan base that'll be splitting an atom anytime soon. So
Yeah, yeah.
Well, fellas, let's jump into some news here. First, some really exciting news coming out of recruiting during the bye week. Um, the Ghosts hosted 3 JUCO players and got commits from all 3 of them. They are safety Michael Graham, who had offers from Michigan State and others. Defensive tackle KJ Henson, who has 5 sacks this season and had offers from Kansas State and some others. And wide receiver Derek Sally Jr., 6'4", 220 pounds, offers from Illinois, Kansas State, and others. He's the rated number 1 JUCO receiver, which is exciting. I think, again, we're kind of seeing, and things can change, obviously, but recruiting has been on the upside, and yet again, during the bye week, making some waves happen there. So, um, yeah. What do you guys think about that?
it's good to see that, especially
What
a
was
year
exciting?
like I'll just say that
Go ahead.
with the year that we're having, it's good to see always that you're getting talent coming in. It's hard to get excited when it feels like they're probably a long ways away from actually seeing these guys, right? And like transfers happen and they can still decommit, but um, we haven't really been seeing many decommits either. It feels like from our recruits, and it just feels like they keep pouring in. So nothing but a good sign. But I guess we'll see how things play out.
Yeah, I was just gonna add it's nice to get a D lineman in there, especially an interior guy. Those are, I think it's the hardest position probably to recruit in college football outside of like a top three quarterback in the in the country. It's defensive tackle. So getting one of those guys is nice. We are losing some DBs again after this year, so getting another depth guy is great. And then, yeah, I mean the number one JUCO wide receiver is pretty nice. I don't know how it transfers from JUCO to like, comparing like getting a top rated freshman, but it's, I mean, big bodied guy. So I hope we use him correctly and, can get him the ball to his skill set and not try and force him into a pigeonhole necessarily that he doesn't think fit this offense. But you know what? We've touched on that enough. And so, yeah, it's good to see. And like we actually did lose a couple guys. We lost a recruit and no lineman prior or just after the Iowa loss, I believe. So getting these guys in, and we have picked up some high school recruits as well shortly after that too. So yeah, it's back to feeling really good about the class. And man, like if this class stays, it's going to be one of PJ's best, I think. So
Yeah. Very exciting news. And yeah, we're gonna see how that plays out. Um, Dave chiming in. Your birthday on Monday, would like to see the Gophers at least beat the spread. Totally agree, Dave. That'd be a great birthday present for you and just a nice present for Gopher fans, I think.
happy birthday, Dave. Appreciate you
Yeah,
being here consistently. It's great chatting with you.
yeah,
One thing that's going to
agreed.
bother me if I forget it too, it is Veterans Day. So happy Veterans Day. Thank you to everyone that has served, past and current. We appreciate your sacrifice. And yeah, happy Veterans Day.
Well said, Kurt. Um, and yeah, on to some a little more somber news. No injury report from Fleck naturally on Darius Taylor. But the Gophers 24/7 writer Ryan Burns predicts that we will not see Darius until the Gophers bowl game. That's a big loss. But a question for you both. Have we seen Darius Taylor lace them up for the Gophers for the last time? Is it smart for him to move to the NFL, or is it smarter for him to come back for his senior season? Or is it possible that he goes elsewhere? Max, let's start with you.
Yeah, I guess I'm curious where that information is coming from that he's not expecting him back till the bowl game unless he's heard otherwise from the coaches. But I know they like to play that pretty tight to the vest. So I'd be surprised if it really was that long. And that would lead me to believe it's something more than just his aggravated hamstring, that if he maybe hurt something else. But we have no idea. We'll never know until 2 hours before game time on injuries. So it's kind of just the world we have to live in. But yeah, as far as his future, I mean, obviously we'd love to have him back. I do think it'd be smart of him. I, I guess obviously either way he's probably going to make money, but like, has his draft stock or his NFL value really gone up much in his college career just with being injury prone? And I mean, he's shown flashes his freshman year, and that was about it. And he's never really returned to that form. So sure, he could try to go to the NFL and maybe be a late round pick, but if he comes back next year and is healthy and can show, play at his full potential, now you're moving up that draft board and you're only going to make yourself more money. So if I'm him, I'm staying. But I guess I get it either way. Running backs don't last long. So if he's trying to make his money while he can, obviously there's money to be made in college football nowadays too. I don't know if he's going to make more with the Gophers than he would in the NFL, but I guess that's up to him.
Well, I think that last part's the key, what you said. With NIL these days, in the years past, I would say if your ultimate goal is like just take your best shot at the NFL, especially at a running back, especially here where we like to run you 35 plus times a game if you're the lead back, I would say go take your shot at the NFL. And he could. I just don't think he's kind of stuck at a weird size, like a lot of the Gopher backs feels like, where he's a bigger back right now, but not big enough to be just a big bruising tailback. And then he's also a really good receiving back, but he's not got the quickness or little shiftiness that you kind of need to make it in the NFL at that kind of running back spot either. So in years past, I would say go for it, but I'm with you, Max. Like with NIL today, I think he would make more and probably is making more than what he would on like a UDFA just signing bonus, like somewhere, because I think with the injuries, I think teams are like, would be intrigued by him, but definitely somebody they would just sign to the practice squad and just, um, especially with running back, they're so picky these days and the position's really devalued unless you're like, up for the Heisman, like, Ashton Genty was last year, or if you're a speed demon like Gibbs was out of Alabama. So you just don't get drafted that high typically as a running back unless you're expected to be like an all around game breaker. So, yeah, I think he'll be back. I really thought it was a big question mark at the start of the year because if he had a good year, I think he would have taken a shot. But with the injuries, I think it would smart for both him and the Gophers to bring him back. Like because if he's healthy, great. Then you have a good tailback to mix in with your young guys that are up and coming. And if he does move on, I think the Gophers are in a good spot to handle that going forward too. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I definitely think that, it's obviously up to Darius, you know, happy for him if he tries it. My question is, what is his draft stock going to realistically look like? Unfortunately, he's kind of been plagued by injuries throughout his career here. That's got to have some sort of effect on his draft capital. He's a great back when he is healthy. We know that. I kind of wonder if, I kind of look back at the Mo situation, right? He had the opportunity to maybe go pro when he tore his Achilles, came back for a year. I think that personally might have raised his draft stock a little bit because he had a great year coming back for that one final time. Maybe to give it another shot, make some good money here with our NIL, raise that draft stock a little bit more, and then maybe you can get a little bit extra money going into next year. Granted, I do say that I am biased saying that because I would love if he would just return here. But that's just kind of where I'm looking at it. Kind of a down year for him. Come back on fire next year and see where it gets you.
Right. And NFL salary aside, I mean, it feels like he really can't hurt anything by coming back, right? Like his draft stock's not going to go any more down if he gets banged up again. You know what I mean? Like it kind of feels like
Right.
putting on a good season of tape is only going to help him if that's what his goal is. But if he just wants to
Yeah,
be in
it's
the
more about
NFL,
the
then
hits he would take, I think, and stuff like that.
right,
Like if his legs only got so much juice in them, I guess. I don't know how much that's gonna
right,
hurt. But
Yeah.
Dave brought up an interesting point there. For Darius Taylor to stay, I think they really need to work on that offensive line. Possibly, like, here's what I love about Darius, and I know we've talked kind of negative, not about him, just about the situation, about how he's always been banged up and hurt, and it's unfortunate he hasn't been able to stay on the field. But he has been like a fantastic like spokesman for the Gophers. He's never complained, even in games where he stayed healthy and we haven't been able to get the running game going at all. You know, he has not been for as big of a star as he is on campus and how much attention he gets, like from people on campus. He's never once talked bad about the Gophers or really flirted with the portal or anything. Like he has been a proud Gopher, and you don't always get that these days. So I really hope it just ends happily. But to your point, if he's looking at it and he thinks he's like, this is my last year of college football, I don't know if I have a shot at the NFL, but I don't know. Like maybe there is a team not encouraging this, but maybe there's a scenario out there where it's like a Texas Tech or somebody that's got a bunch of money tries to tempt him for his last year of eligibility to go there and try and float him the idea that hey, you have a better shot at winning a national championship here or something along that lines. Like that's the only thing I think he would leave for is like if trying to compete for a natty is really important to him in his final year after all things considered. But yeah, I think he would stay. I think he's going to stay is my prediction, but we'll see.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah. I definitely think it's more likely he goes to the NFL than you were to transfer. I'd I'd lean that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fellas, let's go ahead and move on to the game this Friday. Um, as we all probably know, the Gophers are 24.5 point underdog going to Oregon. Uh, some history. They hold the Gophers the all-time series record at 3-1. They won the last matchup in 2003. So we have the upper hand in historical sense. However,
That's right.
recent memory shows that the Ducks are pretty good, and we're a good team too, but it's really good. Um, yeah, let's break it down. Let's talk about our defense against the offense of the Ducks. Curdy, let's start with you.
Um, yeah, I'm sorry. We'll start with our defense. Okay, so I think
Against their offense. Yep, yep,
right.
yep.
The biggest challenge I think Oregon does, outside of being pretty good at everything, is how balanced they are. I think you saw that in the Iowa game, where usually Oregon is known for being um, up tempo and fast paced. Not that they don't do that still, but then hitting really big explosive plays in either the quick passing game or taking shots down the field. And it's not that they can't do that this year. It's just they're much more, like I said, balanced. The stats show that here. They're averaging about 232 passing yards a game and rushing for 240 a game. So really balanced attack. They got a couple of talented backs that are going to be tough to contain. And I don't know if he's back this game, but their top tight end is it Sakeed, Max? How do you pronounce that last name?
Kenyon Sadiq.
Sadiq, thank you. He's really good, and he looks bigger than everybody. I know he's not necessarily the biggest guy on the field, but when he's running downfield catching passes, he looks like that monster defensive lineman from Baylor who has that famous picture against Sparty in that bowl game. That's what he looks like to me on the field. He's just a massive human being and just a really good player for them. So he did miss last game, so hopefully we can catch a break. I mean, I hope he ends up fine, but just rests it one more week against the Gophers is all. So I think that's the biggest challenge. And then, Dante Moore, I feel like we've talked about him on this podcast longer than ESPN has, because we were talking well about him back when he was at UCLA and making plays for them and Chip Kelly. Then he goes and transfers to Oregon, sits a year, and now they're talking about him like he's a young quarterback, which kind of, but not really. He has the potential to go to the NFL if he wants to after this year, and I think he is that good. Um, Inconsistent's too harsh of a word, but he's had stretches of the game where he's been off, I'll say. But usually it's when you're getting pressure on him. Other than that, he's been fantastic. He can run it. I don't know if he had a big run against Iowa last week where he just kind of pulled up and went out of bounds. So I'm not sure if he maybe had a hammy or just thought he was going to get caught there. But that's something to watch too. But yeah, they present a lot of challenges. So our defensive front will have their hands full, and I really think this is a game where, we've been pretty blitz heavy to get pressure, but I really think this is kind of going to have to be more of a bend and don't break and kind of, give them the plays that are there in front and make them go the length of the field. And then once they get into the red zone, that's when I would try and dial up the pressure and maybe try and force a mistake.
Definitely. Yeah, really good, really physical offensive line that they have as well, which is I don't. Yeah, it's kind of a different brand of Oregon football, like you said. Like they're known for always being kind of flashy and a fast team, but if this team was wearing Georgia Bulldog uniforms, you wouldn't see any different. Like you would just assume, oh yeah, that's a good Georgia team. Like that's kind of how they play. They've been actually 50%, 56% leaning towards the run. And like you alluded to, Kurt, they've got three really good running backs, and Noah Whittington, the transfer, or he was a transfer previously. I think he was with them last year, but he's like a 6-year senior who's just been around forever. Then the two true freshmen, De'Aaron Hill Jr. and Jordan Davison, like those two guys come in, and I think they're all pretty much right around the same, like per carry yards. They've all ripped off at least one 60-yard run this year. They don't throw to them a lot, which I guess is a positive, but they've got enough wide receivers to make plays all over the place. So really, it's going to be how healthy is Oregon coming off of the Iowa game. Like you mentioned, Sadiq was out against Iowa. They're also missing DeCorian Moore, their freshman wide receiver, who's been a stud, and on the right tackle, Alex Harkey. So we'll see if any of them are back. If you're Oregon, you're coming back on a short week, and you've got a couple big games coming up in the season. Like, do you rest those guys and roll the dice against the Gophers, or do you try to get him back early? Like, it's going to be interesting to see. I can see where you'd want to lean one way if you're Dan Lanning looking at the rest of your
Right.
schedule. But, the other big thing I guess that stands out to me on our defense is just what's the health of our DBs looking like. I know we're coming off a bye, which was much needed. But, I mean, we had guys missing, like Zaquan Bryan got hurt in warmups against Michigan State, and it felt like every other corner got hurt at one point in the game. Jonte McMillan, I think, was playing like three positions at once, it seemed like. So Oregon's got health issues on offense, but we've got equally the same health issues at DB, which has already been a problem. So we'll see how it plays out. We'll see who's actually playing. But yeah, that at the end of the day, their run game, they could just run the ball the whole game and they'd be just fine.
Yeah, exactly, Max. And, injuries aside, and I think maybe to be a little more conservative, they might be looking ahead for the rest of the season, playoff aspirations, maybe trying to make a Big Ten championship, although they lost to Indiana. Um, Maybe you sit there top guys, but one thing that I noticed during that Iowa game last week was how effective they were running the ball against the Iowa defense, which sort of caught me off guard a little bit. They were just able to be physical and against an Iowa defense, that's surprising, and um, they were just really successful. They had like three running backs that I think were sharing the load, but Noah Whittington was someone who caught my eye the most, just athletic. He, fits through the tackles and kind of runs through people and he gets extra yards. So I think against this team, it's going to be a lot of physicality that's going to be needed up front. Um, and they'll need to tackle well. I feel like that's been a problem for the Gophers D. These are athletic players that they have on Oregon. So being able to, make your tackles, and not let them break off for a little yards after contact would be ideal. Um, it's a good
I think that
offense. If they can't do it in the air, they're going to do it on the ground as well. They're just really good.
Yeah, it's funny because I know they have some receivers that got hurt preseason, and like Max brought up, they've lost some guys here in the season too. All of their receivers, for the most part, look the same to me. Like you could just put there's a blanket look that Oregon receivers have, and they're always good. And I don't know the name of which one that's out there all the time, but they're all making plays. Back to that Iowa game. It sounds super obvious because it was a close game, but how Iowa played them is kind of how defensively is how you're going to have to try and play them. Like they're going to get their yards, like they're that good. But what Iowa does so well is a lot of those drives ended in field goals, and yeah, they lost the game. But I mean, it's not. We've talked about it's a really good Iowa defense this year, like obviously well coached, but it's not like a star-studded defense necessarily like you've seen in the past. So if you can play sound defense and just keep it in front of you and then dial up the pressure that we have been good at doing. I mean, we're tied for fifth? I don't know. I don't we were at after 2 weeks ago we were fourth in the country in sacks. I don't know where we ended up after last week happened, but we're one of the top in the Big Ten, and Anthony Smith has 8.5 sacks. So if we can just get it to a point where it's ideal to dial it up and put some heat on them, then maybe you let Coy and Kerry Brown step in front of a ball and make a play for you and make this one tighter than people are expecting. So
Yeah, that is the one thing too. I hope schematically, it feels like lately we've been doing a lot more blitzing with our DBs, and I think with Coy it makes sense. But I kind of hope we stay away from like the corner blitzes or sending Kerry Brown or guys that we like desperately need to have in coverage, especially with the health of our cornerbacks that are already playing out there. Like I don't know, I'm fine with mixing up some looks or different blitzes, but feels like our blitzes have been better from the linebacker position, anyways. That I hope we don't really
yeah,
need as many of these exotic DB blitzers or zone blitzes to try to fool them because
right.
it's not going to end well.
Yeah, it's curious. I'm curious to see what they do with the linebacker room. I feel like Emmanuel Carmo has not played as much down the stretch here. Has anyone else noticed that? Is he still over
Yeah,
on
that
special
is
teams?
odd.
Are they trying to preserve his red shirt, or is that already gone? I feel like it's gone already, but I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like he's played
It's
in
a
at least 4 games, but it's like
It's
maybe
gone down.
a quarter of the snaps.
It
Yeah.
definitely has gone down. When I feel like he was starting to pick it up a little more,
Right. I mean,
which
I
is
would
odd.
think he'd be a guy you want to maybe be in there in certain spy situations on more, because Moore
Right.
does got some giddy up to him. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, we haven't talked about him enough, but Devin Williams and Mav Baranowski have had terrific years, especially Williams. Um, who maybe wasn't always in the right spot in years past. Like he's really developed into a solid Big Ten linebacker here. So yeah, hopefully he has a great game because we'll need him against these tight ends and running backs that the Ducks got. So will be an intriguing matchup at least at the start. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have the total number of sacks in front of me, but I did see that Minnesota is number one in sack percentage. So a rate of sacks per play is at number
Okay.
one. But then we also give up a ton of
Suck it,
explosive
Ducks.
plays too. So it feels like
Yeah,
it's
yeah, I
it's one
know.
or the
It's
other.
boom or bust.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like Dave's comment there. Battle of the least intimidating mascots.
yeah, and Sun Bowl champs.
Yeah, that it
Oof.
was a Sun Bowl.
Yeah.
Um, I always thought this sounds like a hater. I thought because I think it's because Goldie didn't get the national love that the Duck got. Like I've always thought Goldie's a great mascot. Like the Oregon Duck is literally just like Donald Duck in an Oregon thing. So that always bothered me. How everyone's like, you got to give it to the Duck, the number one mascot in the country. I'm like, that's BS, man. Goldie's original. And anyway, I guess it's just another another battle going on this weekend, this Friday night. We got our buddy Tyler here too. He's a Ducks fan. Unfortunately, we couldn't turn him. We tried.
Yeah, maybe after Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fellas, what about our offense, the Gophers, against this Oregon defense? Max, let's start with you.
Strap in. Yeah, they're gonna have to figure out a lot of problems because as good as Oregon is on offense, they're just as good, if not even better, on defense. I mean, we saw what happened against Ohio State. This team is right up there, and they've got dudes everywhere. From Bryce, I think it's Botcher or Betcher, the middle linebacker, to Dylan Thieneman, the transfer from Purdue at safety. Like they've got dudes all over the field. They're big, they're physical. So if our offensive line, plays like they've been playing, then it's going to be a long night if we can't get anything going on the ground, which is only going to hurt Drake Lindsay because then we can't really do anything to get the pass game going. um, and yeah, and especially if Darius is still out, uh, like they're expecting to be, as he's still going to be potentially out for a while. Then if Femi Ijiboy can't get 3-4 yards a carry, it could be a long night. I do hope going into this game kind of the same way, coming off of the Iowa still was able to move the ball decently well and on the ground against Oregon, but it's more of just that power run scheme that they've done so well. And it feels like we've seen the most productivity on the ground coming off gap or counter schemes. So hopefully they stick to that. They find something that works. If we can rip off a couple big plays, that's going to help. But I don't know. We just got to find ways to sustain drives, and the way we've started on offense, I don't know. We've outside of Oregon or Ohio State, I don't think we've scored points on any opening drive yet this season. So tall task in front of the Gopher offense.
Yeah, you look at the rushing stats, and it wasn't much for Iowa. Although I believe that punt counts against their total. That over the head snap because
Yeah,
they have a miscellaneous minus 39 yard rush, so that hurts the average a tad. But watching the game, like it was effective, right? Like what Iowa did great was get themselves in third and mediums, third and shorts. And I know we don't have the offensive line for sure that Iowa has. Iowa's might be the best, but that is the script, and it does the one advantage the Gophers have is like this Iowa or this Oregon defense did just go through like a very physical battle with Iowa. Now it's a short week. You're coming in fully rested off the bye. I would like to see us try and go at them a little bit physically. Like I think there is something there if you can kind of come out and execute blocks like the way you did against Nebraska, I know it's a different talent level in the fronts there, but I think there's some yards to get if you can kind of get on them early. And one thing I have picked up on here the last couple weeks of some Ducks fans I've followed here recently is they if they pick a weakness on the defense is the linebacker play or in general. I know they have that stud. Is it 44? Felt like he made every tackle against um, it's like 44 or 46. I don't have it up in front of me, but he made like every tackle
Yeah,
against
44
Iowa.
is the one outside backer.
Yeah. Outside of him, they get a little questionable for compared to the rest of Oregon's defense. They're still good players. But it would be great if we could get downhill, run at those guys, and then utilize the tight ends just to make those linebackers have cover a lot of field and try and use, I guess, pick on them as much as you can pick on a positional group on this defense. Like Max said, they are all very good. But I don't know. I really do have a feeling. It makes no sense. I feel like we're going to be able to chunk them a little bit on the ground here early, just coming off the bye and what they went through with the short week. So I'm hoping to take advantage of that. Here's my plea, though. Greg Harbaugh, Matt Simon, please, here, if you're not going to put in an RPO, which you should, everybody runs an RPO at some point. Literally, I think I would put, I don't, have we ran one? I don't think we have. If we have,
No.
it hasn't been since early in the year. I don't think we have, though. I think every team in the Big Ten has run an RPO other than the Gophers this year. But here's my plea: let's just mix in a slant because against man coverage we've ran screens, drags, and fades, and like that's literally it. So let's mix in a slant, hit it early, hit the double moves early. We need to just have a bunch of different looks that we're throwing out there at them. Like now's the time. Like go out there. Nobody's expecting you to pull this off. Like throw everything you got at them because I mean you know what they're going to do. They're going to sit and man it and force you to try and run, get that going a little bit, and then hit somebody over the top on a double move. Like I think it's we have guys there that can make some plays. It's just can they all work cohesively together to get in a rhythm to make that happen? If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree. I just think too, you've had this bye week, and if we remember back to that Ohio State game, that first drive, it was kind of like a scripted drive that we just kind of chunked through up the field, kind of like you were mentioning, Curdy. Why not just try and get six right off the get go, on the road, get comfortable, and just see where it takes you? You've had all this time to rest, get healthy, maybe install a few plays here and there, hopefully an RPO, like you said, because you're going to need it. This defense is tremendous. Your secondary has what, three freshmen out there, and they're playing lights out. They're pretty incredible. So it's going to be tough for Lindsey, but I also think that Lindsey's a great quarterback and he's up for the challenge. In terms of you know what we saw against you know what I saw with Iowa, I just feel like it's very possible if you play your style of Big Ten football and you watch that game. I just think that it is possible to compete in this game. I think that the Ducks are great and, they're probably going to win. But like you said, Kurt, just give it all you got, play Big Ten football, be physical. And I think the game is, it can be there for the taking. I just look at that Iowa game and I know that Iowa dominated us, but I don't feel like their strategy is a whole lot different than what ours could be, I guess. Obviously they execute very well, but you've had this time off, give it a shot. And I think that this offense can do well against their defense if they just can put it together, especially up front. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, to your point, like everything on the road has gone wrong already. And I know Autzen a terrific stadium environment. We've already been to the shoe. We've already been to Kinnick. I mean, this and now add this one. That might be the top three in the Big Ten, or three of the top five, however you want to cut it. Like, there's nothing. noise wise, travel, nothing should catch you off guard at this point. So I'm not saying you're going to come out and just start fast like we've been asking them to for a while now, but like you've been through all of it before. So what's the worst that can happen? So just go out, try and
Well
win.
said.
Look how big the spread is. Like nobody's expecting you to do anything. You might as well, hey, let's have a trick play that's like based off what we actually run. I would love a flea flicker at some point. We run the ball so much. It seems to make
Yeah.
I feel like it would make so much sense, and I don't think we've ever done it. Maybe we have, but it's been a long time. I can't remember off the top of my head under PJ though. So
Is
Yeah.
it? I know this is kind of. I don't want to stray too far, but at this point in the season, is it just time to just let it rip? Nothing to lose sort of mentality, even though the season's pretty much ahead of you. You know, you could realistically, you can win 2 out of the next 3 games, and it looks that's decent, right? Like we would take that. Yes, it was a little disappointing, but I just feel like let it rip. You have nothing to lose. Just go out there, play football. And,
yeah,
these are the Ducks. This is like a team that is competing for a national championship. Why not treat it like it's a Super Bowl almost like and just go out there and just give it your all? Not just the players, but
Yeah.
as coaches too. Open up the
100%.
playbook, give everything you got, and just see what you can do.
You
When
don't
you've had
think
two
if
weeks to prepare for it too, like
You're right. You don't think if you lose this game by 30 plus points again that like other coaches aren't going to point to them and be like, yeah, Minnesota's fine, but like you're never going to do something in games that matter essentially. You know what I mean? So like it's totally going to get used against you if you get just obliterated again in this one. So I'm with you. Like go all out, and not that the coaches, I mean, I don't want to say they haven't tried to go all out, but they clearly haven't had the players ready to go in these road games. So um let's get it figured out, and yeah, let's make it a game because I really, and I don't blame Oregon for thinking this way, to be fair, but I mean, you see it online. They're like, okay, we survived the tough road test. Everyone warned us about Kinnick and how it gets people. It nearly got us. We escaped out of there. We're heavily beat up, and it's like, and you already see it. They're like, okay, we come home. We get Minnesota at home before these last 2 big games of the year to close it out and make it to the college football playoff. So we're already the afterthought. Nobody
They're
can
taking a breather. They're like, okay,
exactly,
yeah.
and the players can try and block it off all they want. Dan Lanning's fantastic about getting guys to lock in. I'm just saying it's gonna soak through, and eventually it has to. In the point in the season where you just need a breather, and so coming back from Kinnick on a short week, gonna be 40 degrees, potential rain happening for this game by the time kickoff's happening. So it's gonna be just another, could be weather-wise just a potential another slog, right? Like of just like, ugh, more rain, more cold, like, and we're from Minnesota, so we're should be used to that, ready to roll. And yeah, I really do think if they can come up with a decent game plan, the players execute. I think there's an opportunity to give them a scare here, just based on all the other X factors happening.
right. And what I really want to see offensively, is especially because it feels like that's where a lot of the the issues schematically and play calling have been, is if we can just go up tempo more often and like use that to our advantage, because it feels like when Drake's able to just get things rolling and kind of just not think, it feels like things
Right.
go a little bit better and works out in our favor, helps the offensive line because they can't, the defense can't rush as the way they want to. They can't sub, so we can wear them down and sustain a drive with that tempo. It helps us throughout the game as well. Um, but yeah, I mean, and just to set realistic expectations. I mean, Harbaugh already said in his press conference, he was asked, like, is this the game you just go all out and throw everything at them? And he essentially answered no. Like, they just want to try to operate their offense to the best of their ability. Said they'd like to be able to run trick plays, or, you always want to be able to do those things. I don't know if he's trying to play things close to the vest, but like he's said a lot more in the past, and it's sometimes not been as veiled as maybe we would have wanted him to be. So for him to basically be like, I just want to see us run our offense, doesn't give me a lot of good feelings, I guess, for what to expect.
Well, it is interesting too that he thinks the only time you can run a trick play is when the offense is going well, and not to potentially jumpstart the offense. I
Yeah.
Right.
think to that Cal drive, it was the only drive we finally got going, and so he ran and was like, "All right, it's going well. Now let's run the koi receiver
Right.
pass that we haven't set up at all." Yeah, he's got a terrible
Yeah.
feel for that. I'm sorry. I'm trying to not get
Yeah.
too negative, but Harbaugh's got a lot to prove. It should both coordinators should have a lot to prove in these next 3 games here. And like,
Right.
if you somehow pull this off, 9-3 is right there, and this whole season is looked at way differently. And and all 3 games are going to be tough down the stretch. Northwestern, we're not going to be favored. Wisconsin will be a touchdown difference at most. Like, so all 3 of these games are going to be tough down the stretch. But if you can go in there and do shock the world, I mean, all of a sudden you're 9-3. Everyone's like, "Holy crap!" And that wasn't even the easiest
Yeah.
schedule that they could have possibly had. So the reward is there to be taken if you can take advantage of it. But I'm sure the Ducks will be up for it. They trail 3-1 in the all-time series, so this might be their Super Bowl. You never know.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well said. Well, fellas, let's get some score predictions. And well, actually, let's start before that. What does improvement look like for the Gophers in this matchup? We're coming off of a bye. You know, we're we're kind of in the record looks good, but I feel like we're still kind of in this weird limbo. Like
It
personally,
feels
I'm not
empty with the
super
blowout losses.
yeah.
Like,
I feel a little empty on the season, but what does a success look like for in this matchup? And do the Gophers have any chance at pulling off this upset? I know we kind of talked about, like, for me, again, it's just throw it all at them. And I know, Max, like you touched on what Harbaugh said, and maybe like to play devil's advocate, maybe he is playing it too close to the chest. Maybe he wants to just seem like he's like, I believe in my players, so we're just going to do what we do and go out there and execute the offense. Maybe it's coaches talk, but to me, it's not coaches talk. It's you just got to fire up these. You got to fire up our fans, fire up these players. You got to be like, we're going to give them everything they got. They're a great team. It's time to just open it up these last few games of the season and just show that we are a team that should be recognized. It's doable. They just got to do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
I posted this question to X, like, what does like improvement look like for Gophers this weekend? And I got 2 responses. I appreciate both of them, and I kind of agree with both of them. So, first one here is from Maiden, Minnesota. Appreciate you. Uh, that's what does improvement look like this weekend for the Gophers. It says winning the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball at least half the game. I don't expect a victory, but it would be nice, or I would hope we'd at least keep it within 2 scores. I get that sentiment, and I don't think he's like asking for a moral victory. I think it's just where you're at in this point. The line of scrimmages have been a little bit of a challenge. So I responded, I would be thrilled if the offensive line won 40% of their plays on the line of scrimmage. I think that would be at least showing improvement and give fans more confidence in like the staff getting the players ready. So I think there's 2 ways to look at this. Then we also had this one. Ollie Bobo. I can never get your Twitter name right, but he hosts We Live for Saturdays podcast. He says winning the damn game. We're way past moral victories, in my opinion, which I totally get. Like, we're in year 9 of PJ. Like, there's nothing really left to really take away and be like, oh, we're taking a step in the right direction here. For me, it's kind of a different grading scale as far as like PJ goes. Like, PJ should win the game. Like, not should win, but like we should expect PJ to put out a great effort and win this to be as close. It's like we would want a close game in year 9 under PJ. But I feel like it's a different curve almost for the coordinators. That makes sense just because they're in their first. No, Danny Collins in his first year, Harbaugh's in his third year, and I still feel like he has a lot to prove. So, yeah, I'm not looking for moral victories, but I do think if the lines can just show up and start winning more battles consistently, like I said, if we can start the game chunking them here and there on the ground and at least get it into third and manageable, I don't know. Like I think that shows improvement if we can make them march down the field and not constantly give up 25 plus yard plays and actually make them earn it. You know, even if they still end up scoring 35, but we made them drive the whole length of the field. I think that does mean that they got better or played the game plan that gave them the best chance to win, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah. Improvement offensively to me is like effective short yardage running. I don't know how
Yeah.
many opportunities we're going to get second or third and short, but it feels like even when we've had those opportunities, it's been a struggle. A lot of that comes from the offensive line, and then also just consistently deciding to run out of shotgun or just we're just never set up for success. It feels like when we get into those short yardage run situations, and then even in the red zone as well. Like when we get to the red zone, when it seems like that's been happening fewer and fewer times, but when we do, it's like now we can't even put points on the board because our short yardage offense has just
Right.
been struggling. So offensively, if we can have success in the short yard game, to me that's improvement. Um, if wide receivers can make more contested catches, because that's going to have to happen in the game like this, where it's going to be tight coverage, not going to be many open windows. I trust Drake to make a lot of the throws, but at some points can be up to the wide receivers to come down with those catches too. If we can't scheme them
Yeah.
open, so
If we can
that'd be
win 50%
offensively.
of the 50-50 balls, that would be
Yeah,
great.
yeah, not like 2%, like it feels like it's been.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Any
defensively,
touch on
just
special teams?
no.
No
Yeah,
comment.
no. Defensively, the improvement. I mean, I think the pass rush pressure is obvious that it's been good, but yeah, it's like it just hasn't been consistent though either. Where it's like we get that pressure, but then on the very next play, we're giving up an 80-yard run, or we're just missing three tackles in a row, or giving up a third and 10 conversion when we drop seven into coverage and there's three guys in the zone around their top receiver, and we just don't see them. Like the little things like that that just feel like they haven't been corrected at all, and have cost us more often than not, um, need to be corrected. But it seems like if we can do those things and pair that with our run defenses look good at times, and then our like our pass rush has been solid. Like it just kind of feels like we're one or two steps away from the defense taking that step to the next level, um, but it just hasn't consistently looked like it's gotten better. If that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about keys to the game and our score predictions. I'll start, fellas. Number one, I think that again, give it all you got. Just open the playbook, play hard, you know, act like this is just trying to prove and shock the world. And not only from a player's perspective, but as a coach. Coaching, just open the playbook, trust your players, and try and just get after them. Um, Number two, offensively, just be physical. Defensively, be physical as well. I thought the Ducks looked more physical than I thought that they might have been against Iowa, and that kind of surprised me. So, giving them the classic Big Ten look of football, physical up front, like you projected, Max. It's going to be maybe rainy, sloppy. Just get after them. Classic Big Ten football. And number three, let's limit the explosive plays. We know that they have athletes everywhere. Let's try and keep things in front of you and then also limit the turnovers. Kind of having a little PTSD from the Iowa game where it felt like we were just giving up everything, turning the ball over, special team mistakes, etc., pick sixes. Let's just limit all that and just play our game of football. If all that can be done, I think that we can stick in with them, but I'm going to go with Minnesota 10, Oregon 24.
That's a Gopher cover, baby.
That would be pretty close.
Garbage time touchdown, too, for that extra seven.
I got you. I like it.
Nice.
Go ahead, Max.
Um, yeah, I guess I'll copy your second one, your second key, Spencer, and go with it first is just physicality. We have the rest advantage They are coming on a short week. The last time they beat it, they had a close win against a top 25 opponent on the road in the Eastern Time Zone. They had to come back home and they lost Indiana. So we've seen it happen before against physical teams. They've had close games. So if we can play physically like we did against Nebraska, we can catch them. If they're not playing all their guys, if they don't have all their horses, and we're back 100% and have the right game plan, maybe we catch them at the right time. Uh, on the field, I mean, we have to win the time of possession and the turnover margin. I was looking at it. The Gophers and Oregon have the same amount of giveaways per game. We're both 15th in the country at 0.9 giveaways per game. We're not turning the ball over. The Gophers still have a negative turnover margin because we've only taken the ball away like zero point 0.8 times per game, and the Ducks are taking it away only, I think, almost one takeaway per game. Um, so we can get like 2+ turnovers and win that turnover margin just to limit their offense. I don't know how often we're going to be able to score off of it, but if we can keep them off the field, limit their opportunities, that's going to be critical. And then really the last one is just kind of finding that spark, kind of maintain the energy and just staying in the fight if we can keep it close. I feel like the coaches have talked about it all throughout the season. Their mantra is like start fast, accelerate through the middle, and finish strong. They keep saying it. We haven't really seen it, but
I'm so sick of hearing that, to be honest.
I
It
know. And they
hasn't
keep talking about like, well,
happened.
no, we just have to stick with that plan. And it's like
That's
that's a
everybody's
great
plan.
plan. That's everyone's plan. You haven't done it yet. And PJ, to use his words, like there's a difference between saying it and doing it, or knowing it and doing it.
Yeah.
Like everyone knows what you have to do. I don't know what it's going to take to make them do it, but you got an opportunity to beat a
They need
potential
to
national
take that one
championship at
off
home.
the sidewall, like off the board. They got all their signs. They got to take
Right.
that one down. Because
Right. It's not
yeah.
happening. So
How
yeah,
about
but yeah.
punch? Sorry.
No, I was gonna say like there's really nothing on paper that like would lead you to believe it's gonna be a close game or a Gopher win. Um, but this game isn't played on paper, and this game is played
That's
on
right.
grass. Is what I
That's
would say
right.
if we thought it'd be close. Ducks 38, Gophers 7. Go ahead, Kurt.
All right. I got there. I think there's two ways this game plays out. The first one, like you said, we don't match up well. The Ducks just sit in tight, make us try and beat a man to man. We continue to fail at it. The defense gets a sack here, then gives up 30 yards there, and we just don't make them consistently drive the field. That game ends up 38-10. Ducks win easily. The second is the Ducks are feeling good about themselves. They're soaking in all the hype. They're focused on getting their recruits here as signing day approaches and the game's up ahead. And the Gophers come out how they did against Nebraska. They're executing good blocks. We're getting Feme going downhill. We're punching them in the face enough to catch them off guard. We hold a lead at half and get after them in the second half and force one crucial error to get it done and pull off the 24-23 victory. So those are the two ways it plays out. We'll have to see which path the Gophers choose. I got the
Which one do you
Ducks
feel more
38 to
confident?
10 though.
Yeah.
We'll go Ducks 38 to 10. Hey, I'm just saying that I'm saying it could happen. Get rid of start facts, accelerate in the middle, blah blah. How about punch a wait, let me back up there. Let's punch a duck in the bill and get after them. It's duck season. Show up with the shotguns. They should show up with the right mentality. They should all walk in with their duck hunting guns into the locker room. That is probably extremely frowned upon in today's environment around guns and whatnot. But that's the mentality you need. All right. So don't play scared.
Agreed.
Go out. If you get a little,
Yeah.
I want to see a little, driving a guy into the ground after the play a little bit. Nothing cheap, but something if you
Just
got to
football.
time to
Yeah,
bring him
yeah.
down and pile on him at the end. Just do something to get you going and get dirty with them. So I don't know, man. There's
Yeah.
part of me that really wants to just say like, hey, the Gophers going to shock some people, but I really do think the O line's going to play well. I don't know why. I think we're going to come out at least start at the start. I'm a little bit worried about the defense making them earn it consistently. Personally, that's where and then don't even get me started on special teams. So I didn't get my keys really, I guess. I gave story time, I guess. But I guess my keys would be like your special teams can't hurt you. Got to come away at positive in the takeaways, and I keep saying that I would get Feme. I would make attack their linebackers if that's the weakness. Get Feme going downhill, make them stop Jamison Gears off that. That's why an RPO would be fantastic, people. Like, you hold it, and you got both of those options right there. Are they going to come up and stop Feme? Oh, Jamison Gears sneaks right behind them. Oh, here's uh, Lemecki on a slant off of that. Like, everyone runs RPOs except us, and I don't just want it because of the 2019 season. It was their bread and butter. It gives you so many options, and it helps out a struggling run game. It gets the ball out of the quarterback's hand fast. It just gives you so many more options. You don't even have to run it all the time. It should just be something you can go to. But
Right.
Greg doesn't listen to me. I've tried, but he doesn't text me back. So
Well, just think of how much that would help too. With like, it's not like teams are loading the box on us either.
no,
Like it's even
that's what I'm
6 or
saying.
7 man fronts, and we're just think if you could freeze a
Those
linebacker.
think about exactly. It makes them
Yeah.
think about something else. It's just it is it is a misdemeanor at this point to not be running like one more time, and it's a felony
Right.
to not be trying to help out this rushing attack. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
this is just water, by the way. I'm not. I'm just
He's just
excited.
Yeah,
crazy,
it's all
folks.
right. It's all right.
Don't sue him. He's sick.
Yeah, I didn't slander anybody today. Not yet.
The night is young.
Right. Well, fellas, let's go ahead and get some picks. Last week we went 2-1 on the week. Sorry.
Here's a
uh,
better way to introduce this parlay going forward. If you had a 3-game parlay and you hear it here, that's news to you to change those picks, folks. Do not bet it with how it's been going.
it's just not been a great year. But sometimes that happens to some teams. Look at Penn State, right? Sometimes it's not your year. When you were looking at being like one of the top teams, it just
That's right.
didn't work. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and pick in honor of Maction. I'm gonna have to go with this game. I'm gonna go with one of the old opponents that we had, Buffalo. They're on the road at Central Michigan. They play tomorrow, 6 p.m. on CBS SN. The over-under's at 43.5. Give me the points. I'm going over 43.5. Both offenses have been scoring decently. I'm hoping for a nice, sloppy defensive performance and just air raid points.
All right.
I like it.
Shout out to John. What's his name? John from Buffalo? I
Yeah.
forget his name.
Yeah.
Yep. Shout out to John. They're tied for first in the MAC. It looks like there's like a big four-way tie at 4-1. So, yeah. Anyways, that's who I got.
I like it.
I like it.
Mine's shout out Bullseye Report.
That's right. Man, he's so good at that. He's going to school for that, and it shows. He's got the voice for it, announcing that is. I'm going Friday night game, and the line's moved in my favor now. I liked it before this. I'm taking Iowa plus 6.5. I know they're on the road. Traveling out west has been tough, and they just got off a tough fight with Oregon. But Northwestern was still able to run the ball on the Trojans, and everybody is bringing up, wow, the Ducks really gashed Iowa. That's kind of what Iowa does, though. Like, Iowa's fine to give you those yards and then slow you up in the red zone. Now, USC has terrific receivers, and that does scare me in this pick, but I just don't think Iowa's ever going to go away from that run game, and I don't think USC's defense is going to stop them from running it into the end zone a handful of times. So, like, I like Iowa to cover at 6.5.
Nice. Did you say Friday?
Is it not Friday? It's Saturday.
It's
I'm sorry.
2:30.
Yeah.
That's okay. That made me more worried about it if it was on Friday to have their quick turnaround too.
Nope. It's a Saturday. I
All right.
apologize. Yeah.
No, I think that'll be all right. Nice. All right. For mine, I'm just nothing fancy. We're gonna take Utah -8.5 at Baylor. I think Utah is a very good team, and I think Baylor is a very average team. I think very good teams beat very average teams by at least 10.
Hey,
Go
Hey,
Utes.
that is a great pick, Max. I think that's money. Go ahead, Gopher fans, lock in those bets. Um, next year we'll get you a promo code. Um,
if you hit that
although
like
we
and
probably,
subscribe button and share with a
yeah,
friend. All right.
that's right. We'll get them this week. All right. Let's get some picks, fellas. Week 12, looking pretty good out there. So let's start in the ACC on a Friday night. Clemson is on the road at Louisville. They're giving Louisville 3.5 points. Louisville, after the upset last week, on paper it seems like Clemson could just maybe like turn it around. They dominated Florida State, which to my surprise, I thought Florida State would get the best of them. But Clemson is still a dead dog team, I think. Give me Louisville with the 3.5.
I'm with you. I think I think it's only that because of how early in the week it is. That's my theory. Like I think Louisville's a better team, and I know Clemson beat Florida State, but yeah, I'm with you. Give me Louisville.
Yeah, I'd probably take the Cardinals as well at home. Bounce back spot for them, letdown spot for Clemson. Clemson's been good on the road for whatever weird reason, but
Yeah,
Jeff Brom, Friday night. Look
that's
out.
right.
Right on. All right, sticking with the ACC, kinda. Notre Dame is at Pitt. Um, they're giving Notre Dame 12.5 points. Pitt's a pretty good team. Aren't they leading the ACC? Or they're up there? Or am I wrong in saying that?
There's a bunch of teams that are right there. There's like
Up in the
there's like four
mix.
or five uh teams with one loss in the
Yeah.
ACC. Or
Okay.
one conference loss, I should say.
Sure.
Do I have that right, Max?
Yeah, is it because Miami? Who is it? It's Miami, Georgia Tech, Virginia.
Well, Miami's got 2 losses.
Or Miami's
now,
got
too.
2. Yeah, that's right.
I'll pull it
Yeah,
up.
I'm going to have to go with Notre Dame. I know that they've lost 2 games this year, and I think that they might be out of the playoff. We'll see, but I feel like they're just picking it up and putting it on, and give me them Irish.
Georgia Tech, Virginia, SMU, and Pitt and Duke only have 1 conference loss. Duke has played 1 less conference game so far. Yeah, Duke's 4-1 in the ACC. Pitt's 5-1, SMU's 5-1, Virginia's 5-1, Georgia Tech is 5-1, and Louisville and Miami each have 2 losses in conference. So this is interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. It should be a good game, I think, but I do think Notre Dame pulls away. I do think they've gotten better, but I don't trust their defense still as much. I mean, it was just so good last year, I guess. I don't think they're quite to the same caliber. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I'm going to take the Irish.
Yeah, I take the Irish as well. This one, I mean, they got every game here on out for them is must win and must win the style points. And if you're Pitt, I mean, it's like this game kind of doesn't really matter. It's non-conference, right?
That's what Narduzzi said. You see that? He was asked
No.
about it. He's like,
He said that.
He's like, "Is this a must-win game?" He's like, "No, it's not a conference game."
Hey,
like literally, pretty much right there.
Not wrong.
Well, I mean, he's right, but if you're Pitt and you fall, I mean, it's only your 3rd loss, and if you win out and win it, I guess, yeah, they're not going to leave you out with a 3rd loss, and that being the Irish probably, but you'd probably be like, I think the correct answer is every win's a must-win game.
Yeah,
like,
we'd like to win them all.
It is the correct answer, yeah. Anyways.
We're going to rest the guys against the Irish here.
Yeah, we forfeit. Um, all right, well, let's head to the Big Ten. Michigan's at Northwestern. Is this big noon kickoff? It's on Fox, 11 a.m.
I don't know if that's where they're going, but
Okay,
it's the main crew is calling it. I'm
sure,
pretty sure. Yeah.
got it. Well, they're giving Michigan 11 and a half. I think this one I'm going to go with Northwestern. Um, I know that sounds maybe a little crazy, but it's 11 a.m. The weather down in the Chicago area has been a little weird. It would like snowed a little southeast of there, cold. It's early on Saturday. It's Northwestern. Give me the Cats to cover.
Yeah, I thought I was going to take Michigan, but now that you say that, it is one of those. We just saw what happened in Northwestern against USC, but like Michigan's not going to light it up offensively like they are. I just don't know how much Northwestern's going to score.
That's why
That's
I'm
the only
worried
problem.
about. They
If they can
run.
lose 10-0,
They can run. I don't feel good about it. David Brown's my guy. I'm gonna go Wolverines though.
yeah.
Okay. Over to the SEC, Oklahoma's at Alabama. They're giving Bama 6.5 points. Give me Bama.
Yeah, such an ugly game last week against LSU, and Oklahoma's defense is legit, so it does get tricky. Maybe here's what I'm gonna say. Maybe it's just been because Bama's had a pretty good gauntlet that they went through, and I know LSU wasn't that great on paper this year at least, but they still have some dudes, obviously. Maybe it's just been a long run for Bama and they're a little worn down, and Oklahoma feels the desperation to win and stay in the playoffs. So I don't feel good about it, and I didn't think I would, but I'll take the Sooners to cover.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I lean too. I just feel like Alabama's going to have a really tough time running the ball against Oklahoma. Um, and if John Mateer just goes superhero mode
Yeah,
and can do what he did earlier in the year, then they got a fighting chance to keep it close. So I would also take the Sooners with the just under a touchdown.
Right on. Back to the Big Ten. Wisconsin is on the road at Indiana. They're giving Indiana 30 and a half. It's a lot of points, but give me the
that's
Hoosiers.
so many points,
It's a
dude.
lot.
Here's the thing. I'm with you. I am going to take the Hoosiers too. And I get I think Wisconsin's defense is good. Like the run defense at least. It's just that weather was so crazy last game. Like their leading passer in that win was their punter. The punter had that one pass and he was their leading
Yeah.
passer. So and Indiana's defense is really good. So I just don't think Wisconsin's going to score very much. Like maybe 10 would be a lot. I'd be surprised just how good Indiana's defense is. So yeah, I think Indiana wears them down and gets it like a 38-6 type thing.
Yeah, I'm going to take Indiana as well, just because I also don't think Wisconsin can score points. But I mean, I guess both teams are kind of in a letdown spot. This is just
Yeah.
like Indiana's coming off one of the craziest wins of the season. I mean, the end of that game was insane. Um,
Yeah.
but I got to believe Kurt Signetti will have them just
I
fine
hope
back at
a
home against
beatdown is
Wisconsin.
coming because who does Wisconsin have after Indiana before? Illinois. Yeah. So like if we could just get them, just keep taking punches in the face, and then so they're just all staggering when they come to us, and we just take that bar chair that they have been sitting on all year and smash it over their head and break the axe and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
All right. Well, last game, back to the SEC. Texas is at Georgia. They're giving Georgia 6.5. Texas looking for that revenge when they were throwing those garbage on the field last year. I think Georgia easily handles this one. Give me the Bulldogs.
I was gonna go Georgia, and then I was listening to Greg McElroy on his show today, and the old line might have improved for Texas and whatnot. But has Arch done it in a big game yet? I feel like all their big moments, he's been like, I don't know, a passenger. And Kirby's really, I guess, you know what, Shitty, you're right. It is. I think it's more points than I thought it would be, so I was gonna go Texas, but Kirby has the ability to just completely outcoach you, and when that happens, it can get sideways. So I'll take the dogs at home.
Yeah, I feel like Georgia's the correct side, but for whatever reason, Georgia just also feels like they've been so up and down. Like I can't
No,
figure
I
out
know.
like one game they're like, wait, what? Why is it this game? So like, why are they barely
Their
beating
defense is
Auburn?
giving up
And
points. So
right, yeah. But Gunnar Stockton's played pretty well.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll take Georgia. I hate it.
yeah, it's a tough one.
Well, all right. Thanks, Gopher fans. That's going to do it for another episode of Sky U Pod. Please like and subscribe to our channel, which can be found on YouTube, X, Spotify, or wherever you like to listen to your podcast. Go ahead and check out our partners' website, thecollegehuddle.com, for more podcasts and articles about all things college football. Thanks again, and let's go Gophers. Let's get it done. Let's go to Autzen and put the beat down and welcome them to the Big Ten our way.